Hi friends, welcome back. Welcome back to Confessions of a Cross Stitcher. My name is Barb. This is episode number 37. I don't even know where to start, my friends. I am refilming this because the first time I filmed it was July 17th. And I had said that day that I was going to post it later that night, and that was a Friday, and then Friday turned into a Saturday, and then a Sunday, and then a week went by, and then 2 weeks went by, and I said, you know what, enough is enough. I had started listening to the video, and I thought, oh my God, all you do is complain. I just couldn't bring myself to post it for you, for my friends. So I'm refilming. So again, this is episode Flosstube number 37. Today is August 12th. It is a Wednesday, and it is an unusual day for me to be filming. I am technically on vacation from the clinic this week, and by vacation that means I didn't have to work Monday night and I don't have to work tonight. I work 2 nights a week, sometimes 3, sometimes 4 if I pick up an extra shift, but vacation for me this week is not going to work Monday or today. So I thought, you know what, I am going to sit down and try to catch everything up and just move forward. I don't know what happened. When I filmed back in July, it was actually a good day. It was a Friday, and I had gone for my mammogram after, this was my second mammogram after having breast cancer and breast cancer surgery. So, you know, anytime you go for a mammogram, you're always, but everything is clear, everything is good. I am healthy. Well, my new normal is healthy, right? Once you experience disease, your body is completely changed. So I can say right now that in this era, I'm good. So my confession here, when I did film that, I had done, it was part 3 of my WIP parade. And honestly, when I sat down and I was listening to the video, I just sounded like I was droning on and on and on. And I said, that's it. I'm not doing this WIP parade, because I would have had, I have over 50 WIPs. And I was doing 10 at a time, and I said, I'm just not going to do that. So I'm sorry, I'm not going to continue on with my WIP parade. Pop, I'm east of Syracuse. No, west. Oh my God. I'm so bad with directions. And I'm going to tell you why. When I was in grammar school, I went to a Catholic grammar school, and we had nuns. And my the nun that I had at the time said that wherever your nose points is north. So at that point in time, that was north, this is north, this is north. And I have been struggling for probably 55 years. Anyway, so let me try to pick up from where I was. It doesn't make any sense to me to go back and pull everything out that I had worked on from the beginning of July moving forward. And to be very honest, not fairly honest, very honest, I literally stopped writing everything down on that Friday, on Friday, July 17th. I have not logged anything from that day forward. I know that I've worked on some things. I do have a finish. I do have a fully finish. I have some haul to show you. I received a very special gift. I'm going to talk about that too. But any of the stitching that I have done, I didn't even mark down. A lot of stuff has been going on. I've had some personal things, good personal things, and I can't talk about it yet. I will be able to probably in my next Flosstube. We celebrated my grandson's 7th birthday with a party. That was fun. But honestly, looking at my days, everything is empty because I literally stopped writing everything down. I had gotten to the point where I just said, not that I was overwhelmed, but I don't know. I honestly don't know what it was. I've been cross-stitching. I've also been crocheting. I have got all kinds of yarn sitting here on my table. If you follow me on Instagram, you'll see that I've been working on a Charizard corner-to-corner Afghan for my grandson. And if you crochet and you've done corner-to-corner, you know that they can be pretty involved. We're going to see how many dog interruptions we have today. Excuse me. Okay, that was number 1. So I'm sitting here and I don't know why I'm sweating like crazy. It's only 77 in my house. I can see the thermostat. No, I don't turn on my AC unless it's at least 80. Listen, I have 31 windows in this house and they're all open. So we're getting a breeze. So let me start with this. Let me welcome everybody. I've already gotten off on the wrong foot here, but let me say thank you to everybody that sticks around and watches my videos. I do have that giveaway that I had posted in the last video, and I did pull for my winner. I will do another one today, and I do have that sitting here, so we're going to talk about that. As I said, I've got 1 FFO, I have a finish, I have a lot of haul, but what I'm not going to do today is really go over everything that I have been stitching because it's just too much, and I'm not going to continue on with the WIP parade because I have overwhelmed myself. I did have quite a few starts in July. July was Christmas in July to me, which means like give myself presents. And that was quite a few Brenda Gervais starts. So, friends, I feel like I am on the struggle bus today. So let me get started. I'm going to show you my fully finish first. Now I've talked about this. Sheri, ColoradoCrossStitcher, does summer camp. I showed you what I stitched for June. That prompt was something from a magazine, and I did that little pillow from, I believe it was Nebby Needle. I did that little pillow gardening, says something about weeds in the garden. So that I did, and then July's prompt was something patriotic or something with your colors of patriotism, right? So here in the US it was red, white, and blue. So what I did, and I've shown this before, I showed that this is what I was stitching. I took a Prairie Schooler ornament and I changed the colors of Santa's clothing and apron to red, white, and blue. So this is my fully finish. I did change the colors a little bit. I also said this year, anytime I do a small, I'm going to use all colors from Stash, all of those little pieces of colors that you just, you've done a kit 20 years ago and you never threw out those leftover threads. Yes, I still have those. So this is my fully finish. It has Kim Deal fabric on the back, of course. And all I did was put a little bit of batting behind my piece. I always put batting behind my piece. Primarily I do that because if I put in any lizard litter, the crushed walnuts, I don't want it coming through. But I didn't do that on this. I just put the batting and then I used fiberfill. And it's very soft, it's not heavy, and I didn't want it to be heavy because when I hand stitched the trim on, can you see the trim? I stitched in between each one of those little doohickeys. I made it as an ornament. So I didn't want it to be heavy. So he will hang on my tree, on my sewing themed tree. this year. So right now he's just gonna sit up on the hutch and just hang out. Now, Sheri also pulls winners for cross stitch camp. She did it for June, she did it for July, she's doing it for August. Now August, the prompt is do something new. So maybe it's a new designer, or it's a new type of cloth, or maybe you're using silks, or maybe you've never used, say, color and cotton thread. Who knows, right? So August's prompt is do something new to you. I decided to not participate for August because I won one of the prizes for July. I was shocked. Honest to God, I just fully finished this yesterday, but July 31st, it was probably like 11 o'clock at night. I had this piece sitting there, and I'm not super happy with it because the colors that I chose for his face, you can hardly see anything going on in his face. And I looked at that and I thought, oh man, I don't want to outline. I want it to look primitive. I should have chosen different colors, yada, yada, yada. It was about 11 o'clock at night. And I said, oh, what the heck? I did it. I stitched it. It didn't have to be completely finished. And that is one of Sheri's qualifications. It doesn't have to be FFO'd. It just has to be finished. So I took a picture of it. And I was one of the winners. And she does a random drawing. So I was shocked when I received the email from her. Now, I was even more blown away when I got my gift. It came in a huge box, and this is huge. I've got it sitting right here because I'm going to put everything back in the box. This is the size of the box. So you can only imagine the stuff that was in here. First of all, I received a vinyl covered, vinyl fronted project bag. And this is heavy vinyl. And I love this fabric, and it's funny because I have this fabric. And I love this fabric because of the dogs. Can you see the dogs in the back? Here, I'll put it a little closer. So I love this fabric, and this is a very well-made bag, and I don't see who the maker is. I don't see a tag in here, and I know Sheri does every once in a while mention who she gets the bags donated from, but this is a super nice bag, and I will be using this for my Christmas cross stitches because I have them over there. Now this bag came with 21, I am not kidding you, 21 patterns. 21 patterns. Not one or two, 21. I'm going to go through these. I still, got my glasses. I still cannot believe this. This is Emily Ann Greenaway, 1884 by Hands On Design. Not Hands On Design, Hands Across the Sea, sorry. This is Come Thou Font, F-O-U-N-T, F-O-U-N-T. By Heartstring Samplery. It's one of the Sunday stitches. And I love the script. I love the writing. This is called Royal Pear by Mrs. Flossie. And I really don't want to take these out of the bags because this is Stitching with the Housewives, Farm Fresh, Calendar Crates, November. USA Forever stamp. I believe this was a freebie. I'm not sure. This was from Fat Quarter Shop. This is Little House Needleworks, Joyfulness. How sweet is that? I'm hoping you can see. It's a little sheep on there. Of course, Sheri's card. Congratulations on your win, and thanks for doing cross stitch camp with us. This stays with this for sure. Hands-on design, gather memories. I love this one. Winter Essentials by the Primitive Hair. This is so cute. Acorn Buttons, running with needles and scissors. I love the letters on this. I love the letters. Can you see them? It says Acorn. Seasonal Sampler Summer by Diane Williams. Really trying to make sure that I don't catch the glare. Tomato Tart, Heart and Hand. Little House Needleworks, Hot Cocoa, which this is definitely going to get done this year. The Blue Flower, Winter Whale. I think this is somewhat of a newer pattern. Oh my goodness, I am so sorry for that glare, but I'm trying, friends. Quaker Snippets, #1. With Thy Needle and Thread, Brenda Gervais. I do not have this one. Jingle Bells, Erica Michaels. I have not done one of those large strawberries. I definitely would like to try that. Wait, I'm not done yet, friends. Lizzie Kate, Be Golly, Be Jolly. Primrose Cottage, Irish Kisses. I don't know if this was a freebie at one point. I do know that I'm pretty sure, and please correct me if I'm wrong, that they take their freebies that we get and then eventually post, make a chart out of them. Maybe I'm confusing it with this past March's freebie, but this is something that I will definitely do for next March. This is Liberty and Love. That one I'm going to save for last. This is called Glad Tidings by Homespun Elegance. This is so pretty. This is so pretty. And this is from July of 1995. Now I know that Sheri has mentioned a few times that they have patterns that were donated to them and things like that. And if anybody wants to try cross stitch, I know she mentioned it with regards to cross stitch camp, that back in June when she said, if you don't have a magazine to stitch from, let us know. If you order something, we'll send a magazine along. So I'm sure that came out of maybe their stash, but oh gosh, I really like this one. I think I'm going to be kitting this one up soon. Halloween Parade. That's so cute. And then this one I was also very tickled with because I thought, how appropriate, considering that I won with a Prairie Schooler, that I receive a Prairie Schooler. And were you counting? There was 21 patterns. So not only did I get the bag, this bag was stuffed with patterns. Now, I am not going to participate in the August one. And if I do, I just honestly, I don't have time to participate. And my thought process is this. I was very fortunate to win. And I have participated in numerous cross-stitch camps. I remember the first one that I did might have been a winter camp. And I stitched Sheri's, she had a pattern of snowmen. And I thought, oh my gosh, this will go fast. Oh man, it really didn't, because there were so many color changes. But I finished that pattern, and I'm pretty sure it was the month of February, because I thought, oh, I'm out of days. I could use a few extra days, but February was a short month. But my thought process is this. I was this was a very generous gift. And one of the reasons I don't want to participate or submit, I mean, I can always stitch up something here, something new to me, but I won't enter it because I want somebody else to have an opportunity. And some people will say, oh, it doesn't matter, you know, you should enter as many times. Well, that's not the philosophy I have. I feel like I have something stuck in my eye, sorry. My thought process is this. If I pull back, maybe somebody else will have a better chance. And that's me. I'm still so excited about all of these. And to be very honest, there's 3 patterns in here that I will not be stitching, and I will offer them in the future as a giveaway. But I know, especially at Prairie Schooler, that's going to be coming out and being kitted up right away because I really want to do that. But I didn't want to pull anything out until I shared that with you. So if you do follow Sheri ColoradoCrossStitcher, or you don't, she is on YouTube at ColoradoCrossStitcher. She does talk about summer camp. She also has a link on her business page. If you go to ColoradoCrossStitcher, under the, I think it's under What's New, and then there's a little arrow, and you hit that arrow, and then you get the drop-down box. You'll see summer camp. She also provides for every summer camp a free pattern, like a patch, that if you want to stitch it and put it on your project bag or whatever. She's also very generous with her patterns. So this was my FFO and my winnings for July summer camp, hosted by Sheri ColoradoCrossStitcher. Now, this has to get put away. I was keeping everything, like I said, I pulled from my stash, and this is what my threads looked like for that. And I had written myself little notes as to what colors I was going to use, and of course I messed it up, so I just kind of pulled it and said, oh, this looks good for a face. Anyway, let me move forward here. So let me show you my next finish. I think I posted this on Instagram. To be very honest, I'm not even sure. I've talked about this numerous times. So when I started this piece, it was September 4th of 2022. I have stitched it on 36 count Edinburgh linen cappuccino by Fiber on a Whim. I was stitching one strand over 2 squares, and this is a memory piece, and I did this for myself, my late mother, and my daughter. This is called And Be Kind to One Another by Needlework Press, and this is finished. I am just so thrilled with myself, but also very agitated with myself that it took me almost 4 years, because I wanted it done in a year. And this is also one of the reasons why I stopped doing a WIP parade and everything else, because when I was pulling out all those WIPs and I looked at some of these pieces, I said, this is silly. I have now over 50 WIPs and nothing is finished. So I made a promise to myself from mid-July through the end of this month, and continuously moving forward until I not get tired of it, because if I get tired of it, then I'm just going to completely stop, until I feel satisfied that I have reached a good point, or in a good position with some of my WIPs, especially those that are so close to being a finish. So I did take this to Hobby Lobby, and I did order a frame. Now, last year I had my oh my gosh, my you can't see it. Why am I pointing to it? It's on my wall. My piece finished, and Hobby Lobby framed it for me. And it's beautiful. You know what? I'm going to grab it. Here we go. My Americana Red. Now, Hobby Lobby did frame this for me last year, and I did make changes to this and all that other stuff. And yes, I entered this in the fair last year, and yes, I won a blue ribbon. But the point I'm getting at with this is there's no batting behind the fabric, and I prefer a little bit of loft. I do not use glass. I don't feel it's necessary for me, because in 100 years, who knows where this is going to be, right? So I don't really care for it mounted directly onto the board. So when I went to Hobby Lobby, I said, look, I want to frame this myself. I will mount it myself. I'll lace it. But could you please cut me the mounting board, and can I order a frame? Absolutely, no problem. So he showed me a few different frames for this, and I really thought that I was going to go with an oak frame because my woodwork in here is all oak. But the funny thing, when he was showing me mock-ups, because what they do is they lay the piece down and then they take a picture of it, and then they can superimpose the frame or frame choices around it to see what you like. I went with a blue frame, very similar to this. I was surprised. Esther, stop it. Sorry, cat's chewing my cord of all things. So if you look at this, I did change some colors. In the top alphabet, you see BT, which is highlighted in gold, JL, which is highlighted in gold, and then RO down here. So that's myself, my mother, and my daughter, our initials. I changed the color. My mother's favorite color was blue, so I made sure I used the blue alphabet for her. This particular down here for my daughter's alphabet, the color is called Kitty Cat or something like that. I can't see. Hang on. Let's go this way. It is called Calico Kitty. So I wanted to use that, and I just worked around it. I just looked at the colors and said, what am I going to do? So when I pulled this out, because this was my Sunday stitch for a while, and then I stopped, right? I mean, it had been months before I worked on it. And I pulled this out, and when I looked at it, I literally just had this bottom section to do. Just down here, the house, and so that's what I did. I'm actually going to pull this up so you can see it a little bit better. No, it's not ironed. I don't iron my pieces until I'm ready to frame them. I also leave needles in my pieces. It is what it is. I don't apologize for that. So I added the year right here. I did put my initials, my maiden initials, BTT, and the house, and I just sat there for a few nights and said, I'm going to finish this. I'm going to finish this. And I did. And I'm very happy with myself that I did that. And then I pretty much went to Hobby Lobby within a day or two to order the frame. And the guy was really nice. He wrote down what the inner measurements are going to be. And I said, dude, I am not marking this piece at all until I get the mounting board. And part of the problem, when I started this, and I actually started it on the anniversary of my mother's death. You know, they always say 2 inches. I'm like, oh, who needs 2 inches? 1.5 inches is good. Well, it was okay here at the top, but the fabric wasn't cut very straight. So if you look down the side, I'm starting to get a little thin, but that's okay. I will be able to work with this. So now I'm just waiting for Hobby Lobby to give me a jingle to say, hey, your frame is ready, and then I will bring this home, and I will take the time to frame this and lace it. I will lace it. It's just a lot easier. It does take time to do it, but I'm absolutely fine with that. Oh, my goodness, why am I sweating so hard? I'm certainly not doing much. So when I got done with that, I said, all right, enough is enough. There's a few other pieces that need to be worked on. And this was the next one. Maker and Mender. So I had looked at Maker and Mender. Now my stitchy friend and I started this a few years ago. And here I'm sitting with mine. Just sitting there. It's a Brenda Gervais piece. Maker and Mender. Oh, you know what? I can take it right out of here. Let me show it to you this way. I love this piece. It's very, very pretty. So, let me give you the stats here. Let me give you the deets. I started October 1st of 2023, stitching on 28 count Oaken Lugana by Picture This Plus. I'm using 1 strand over 2. I know that technically that's 14 count and I should be using 2 strands, but I prefer 1. And I like how it looks. So I picked this up, and a while back when I had been working on it, where's my little clippy? When I had been working on it, I realized that I had made a mistake. Surprise, surprise. I had made a mistake up in the top up here. This piece right here. I had made a mistake. So I pulled that all out, and I restitched it, and I restitched the flowers over here. And then last week I was stitching on this, and I was going along the bottom here. And I thought, oh, you know what? I want to put my initials up there. And then I looked at it. And I had restitched it wrong. I started with, when I started the stems and leaves over here, I was supposed to work off of the dark part of the bird. I worked off of the red, so everything was down too low. So all of this was down too low, and then this was down too low, which would have meant there was no way I was going to get my initials on there. So I unpicked it, all of it. I had to unpick all of the leaves and the flowers and this. I fixed it. And then I put my initials in. Now those initials are done with Smyrna crosses. And I also used a different color than what was called for that. I mean, it's the same blue that's in this pattern, but I don't remember. If you look at the pattern here, she's got her initials is the same color of the writing, and I didn't want to do that. The other change that I made, again, if you look at the pattern down here, see down here where this is, there's a little bird right there. It's hard to see because it's very light, and I don't want to show you the pattern. But I eliminated that bird, and I put in 2026. You can see it there. Now, when I look at this, I probably could have dropped the 2026 down a little bit, and I might go back and redo that, but I'm going to wait and see, because right now I am working on this section here. Ooh, you really can't see that. I'm working on this section here. Then when I get done there, I've got to do this particular piece. So I'm going to see how that fills in. And I might even, just to take up a little bit more space, it doesn't call for it, but at the top of this vase, I might stick a flower right up there too. So again, I do not iron, and I have a needle in here, and that's how I roll. But this is Maker and Mender by Brenda Gervais. Oh, I love this piece. It's just so pretty. So that is my next finish it piece. And then when I go from there, do I want to start something else, or am I going to pick up another WIP so that I can work on that? and take it to completion. I might pick up something that I'm working with on Ada. I don't know. There was something else here in this pile that I was going to show you that I worked on. Or not. Because, oh, here it is. That's underneath my piece here. This table's a mess, but that's okay. I worked a bit on Autumn Garden, and there were a few other pieces, as I said, that I worked on that I didn't even write down. But I did start this, and it's a very small start. Is that the right side? Please, with the glasses. Yes, that's the right side. This is Autumn Garden. This is just the top right here. And this is by the Scarlet House. And it's really, really cute. It's just going to be a small pillow. But that was one of my starts, along with a few Brenda Gervais pieces. And as I said, I am not pulling all of that out and going through all of that with you, because you know what? It's redundant. I'm like, oh, here's a small start. Oh, here's a small start. Oh, look at this. I hardly did anything on this. So I was discouraging myself. And I said, if I'm discouraging myself, I'm discouraging you too. So that is that. Now, let me show you what I did pick up. I happened to be on a stash unload the one day. Caught me at the right time. I purchased, this is called Miss Nettie's Needle Usefuls by Chessie and Me. I just really got a kick out of this little pin cushion here with the kitty cat sitting on top of the thread. And then I purchased, and I looked at this pattern numerous times, and I don't think I have it, and I truly hope I don't have it. Brenda Gervais, Mice in the Sewing Room. Ooh, there's a glare on the board. There we go. I know I looked at that multiple times, and I don't know if I had seen it on 1-2-3 Stitch and they were out of it or whatever, or maybe I saw it on Brenda's website. I know I've seen it and I've wanted it. So I did pick that up on a stash unload. And then I went to my LNS, Lazy Daisy, because she had posted that she got some new charts in, and I said, well, I wasn't going to, because I hope this doesn't sound bad, but, and truly, I understand the cost of doing something like this, and things are not cheap, and designers' time when they spend designing is totally worth it. I am a long arm quilter. I have to charge for my time. A lot of people don't understand that if I make something, like if I do my, I do keepsake animals, memory animals like bears and, you know, different animals. I basically work for $5 an hour. Who works for $5 an hour? Not even my grandkids. So I understand, but sometimes I look at a chart and I'm like, well, do I want to spend that much money on that chart? If it is just something that's like a one and done, I'm not going to do it. But if there's something in the chart that there are extra pieces in it, or it can be split into different things, or I can move things around, then yes, I'm going to buy the chart. And House Rules, when it first came out, I was like, oh, I really like that. Then I said, no, I'm not going to buy it. And then Kathy at Lazy Daisy posted it, and I'm like, add to cart, add to cart. So I ordered this one and something else. I went to the shop to pick it up, and while I was there, and I generally don't do this, I generally don't work with the color and cotton floss, but you know what, I picked up the color and cotton floss for this. There is one color that Kathy didn't have, but we substituted something different for it. So this is my color and cotton floss here. I'm going to try to hold it up here. So one of the colors, let me see if I can see which one it was. She told me, I think it was paving stones is the one that, nope, she had paving stones. And there's also a couple of DMC, but I didn't pull those yet because I didn't need to. So what was the one color she did not have? Fossil? Fossil, which was a brownish color for, what did she say? The trees? Yeah, for the trees. So she said she suggested peanuts. So these are the colors. Now I have seen some people stitching this with blue for the letters, and I thought that was very pretty as well. But so as I said, I did buy the color and cotton for this, just because, why not, right? I am supporting my local needlework shop. I also picked up and kitted up, again, I'm supporting my local needlework shop, the Pansy Patch Punch Needle House. This is the next one in the series. Let me take it out of the bag because this is tiny and you might not be able to see it all that well. I do not do punch needle, but if I'm going to have all of the charts, this is chart 7 of 9, then I'm going to have all of the charts. But I do have the floss back there. So this is the chart. If you look back here closely, you will see all of the patterns. So there is a Stitchery House, Rick Rack, Button, Hot Cocoa. Wait a minute. Hang on a minute. Is that this one? No, it's not. Okay. Because I'm thinking, did I win that one? Now I gotta look. No, I didn't. It says little, okay, this is Hot Cocoa. I almost thought I had a twofer here. So Hot Cocoa, Patchwork, Thimble, and the Punch Needle House. So this is 7 in the series of 9. I do have to go back and see which ones I do have and which ones I need to order. But I have all the floss in here. I figured I would kit this up. There might be one or two that I'm missing. But I also think that when I got one of the other ones, I might have kitted it up too. So I suspect that the majority of the threads are going to be the same. I don't think I'm going to have a problem with that. Kathy also had, she's like, hey, you want to look in my 50% off bin? I said, yes. Silly question. So this is Lucia's Sewing by JBW Designs. Look at how tiny this is. Those little motifs. So I got that. It was in her sale box. This one, I literally think I'm going to do it just how it's done here. Can you read what it says? I've got a good heart, but this mouth. I love it. Oh, this is by Shepherd's Bush. Oh, that wasn't from the bin. Let me skip over to the bin things. This was another 50%er. It's from Annabella's, and it's gardening. I like the little gardening pillows. I like the little motifs there. I like the house, minus the birds. I've said before, I'm not a fan of birds. But it looks like the larger piece might be stitched on a blue. I'm looking to see if it has it on there, but it really doesn't. So it doesn't really matter. Obviously, you know, you're going to stitch it on what you like. But honestly, one of the things that caught my eye was the color of the bluish green in there. I'm not even sure what that color is. I didn't even look. But these are mostly, actually they're all DMC. They're all DMCs. So those were my 50% off pieces. And then of course when she was ringing me up, she's got a few tables right by the front cash out. I'm like, ooh, what's that? Ooh, what's that? This just happened to fall into my pocket. Well, no, not in my pocket. No. It went from the basket to the counter so she could ring me up, and then it went into my bag. So this is a kit. And it's funny because I told her she had a little zipper pouch in there. I was like, where's the kit for that? She said, she said, I had those kits sitting there for the longest time. Nobody touched them until I made the zipper pouch, and then they all went. I said, well, that's what drew my eye. But so this is a little needle book, but clearly you can make it whatever. But it does come with the fabric and everything. So this is really cute. So that's what I picked up at my LNS. I think that's it. What I do want to say, I want to do this giveaway because this was from the last video. So Marcy from Amnicon, she gets my Silver Creek sampler Christmas pattern here that I started twice, and then I UFO'd, and I said I'm not going to stitch it. I'm just not going to stitch it. So I'm going to pass this to Marcy. So Marcy, I'm going to message you just so I can get your info so I can mail this out to you. And yay for you. I hope you stitch it. What I do want to give away this time, and please, I would really, really enjoy it if you would subscribe. I know I had like 229 subscribers, my note says, from the last time, but I think I might have lost a few because I whine about my WIPs, which I'm not going to do anymore. So if you would like and subscribe, I would like to give this pattern away because I am not going to stitch this. I love the Stacy Nash little peoples, all the little animals and everything, but I'm not going to stitch them. So I have this one. It's Dr. Raven, and we're coming up on Halloween. So this is what I would like to pass along to another stitcher who would enjoy stitching this. What I would like for you to do in the comments is tell me your favorite Stacy Nash animal cracker. And I would also, if you are interested, just leave the word Raven, Raven. I will pick with the random picker before my next video, and I really would like to send this to somebody who will stitch it. I would appreciate it, please, to be in the continuous 48 states here in the U.S., because I am unsure as to shipping abroad. I don't know how that works, to be very honest and fair. Maybe at a future date, but right now this is going to have to stay within the U.S. just so that I can get it to you so that you can stitch it, hopefully for this Halloween. So in the comments, please tell me your favorite Stacy Nash animal cracker, and also just leave the comment Raven, or just the word Raven, if you are interested in potentially having this come to your house. So that's going to be that. Again, this goes to Marcy from Amnicon Studio. Marcy, I'm going to message you, and I know we follow each other, but if you don't see this right away, I will message you tonight. Today is Wednesday, so I will message you tonight. And then this will be in my next Flosstube. I'm going to safely guess that my next Flosstube is going to be after Labor Day. Now, Labor Day here is September 7th. So I'm probably looking at sometime the week, maybe Thursday, sometime around September 10th, it will be my next Flosstube, because there's a lot of stuff going on in my family right now, and it is all good things. I can't really divulge anything yet, but at that point in time I will be able to. I am hoping that you are enjoying your summer. I'm already kind of like, our county fair, our Erie County Fair starts tonight. And for me, once the fair starts, it's winter. It's going to snow. We're going to have 3 feet of snow. To me, the fair signals the end of summer. And, you know, obviously kids going back to school. Our kids go back in a few weeks. My granddaughter down in Florida went back yesterday, I believe. Yesterday or Monday. Maybe it was Monday. Oh, gosh, I'm not even sure. So there's just, you know, there's just a lot going on. And I'm sure in everybody else's lives, too. And I hope that everything is going wonderfully for all of you. I hope you're getting all of your stitching done. I have been posting a lot more on Instagram and following a lot more people, which is fun because, you know, I was always so secluded and felt that, you know, nobody, if they didn't know me, wouldn't want to follow me. But I'm seeing that that's different here, especially with my Flosstube. So please follow along on Instagram. I did post about all my other things going on here, you know, here and there. And the little mistakes that I found in some of my pieces and all that good stuff. But I will keep, you know, I'll keep posting on Instagram. And I do have something coming up. If you are a quilter, I will have something coming up on my Instagram page with regards to quilting and long arm quilting. I'm not going to get into it here. I might chit-chat about it on my next video, but for right now, I just want to keep this, what's going on here. So I think that, I'm checking my camera. I am under an hour. That's the first time in a long time. So I thank you for sticking around here. As I've said in the beginning, I am not going to continue on with my WIP parade. I was getting myself so agitated with seeing how many things that I haven't finished that I just don't want to do that to myself. And honestly, I don't want to do it to you either. And I don't mind watching a WIP parade. And as I've been sitting here at night crocheting, I've been watching a lot of Flosstube. I didn't even write down everybody that I was watching. I know I can go back into my history and pull everything up, but I've been watching a lot of Flosstube when I sit down here to crochet because I tell myself I have to crochet an hour a day in order to get this Afghan done for him by the end of next month. But I don't want to drone on about things like that. I felt that it was just becoming a downer, and, you know, I don't want to do that. I want to keep my stitching happy and uplifting. So moving forward, that's what I'm going to do. I've canceled the WIP parade, but I will be talking about my stitching. So, my friends, thank you for being here. I really, really appreciate it. Feel free to tell your friends. Feel free to follow me on Instagram. If you have any questions, you can email me. I'm going to pop my business email down below. And I would love to chit-chat or reach out or questions or anything. I will respond. It might take me a day or two, but I will get to it. And I'm hoping that all is well in your neck of the woods. And everything is great here. And I'm going to talk about that soon. Bye, friends.